Hello everyone and welcome. We've got a big set we're going to be working with here. We have got the Bestie Alphabet Beads, we've got the Bestie Sentiments, and we've got the Bestie Alphabet Beads and Sentiment Stamp and Die. We've got the heart hands, we've got the Bestie Beaded Bracelet, and we've got the Bestie Heart in Hand, the big ones. So here I've die cut out these big Bestie Heart in Hands and some Dune cardstock, and we've got a little heart there that goes with that. So there's 3 dies in that set. I'm going to actually die cut out the heart and actually dahlia and some red, thinking that I'm going to use those 2. I think I will modify it a bit once I get going, but I've got a lot of things already die cut out, the little pieces parts, but some of the bigger pieces I don't. So I'm going to die cut a few of those out on camera, and we will die cut out the stamp and die set and some of the press plate stuff, and I will speed all that up. This is going to be a longer video. Now I'm showing you that I took and die cut out all the little beads and the little bracelets and all the little add-on things ahead of time because I knew this was going to be long. In fact, I've kind of been putting off doing this video because I knew it would be a long video because there's just so many pieces to this set. So now I'm just die cutting out my little heart hands, and I'm using Dune and Portobello because you've got a shadow layer and then the actual hand layer. And so I wanted to use 2 different colors and to have a little bit of shadow. So I'm using the Dune for the hands and the, I don't know, Portobello, I think that's what it is, for the shadow. And then we'll just put those up. I'm going to keep them in their little Ziploc packages. And I'm showing you that one and all the beads and everything that I've die cut out. Now, I did lose a good bit of footage on these hands. I turned my camera off to go look for something and then thought I had turned it back on, and I didn't. So did miss out on quite a bit of footage on these particular hands. And honestly, it was a long video anyway, so it would have been super long had I gotten all that. So I'm just gluing these up and layering them down. Now, there are 2 pieces to each hand because you've got just the pinky finger tip is separate, and it's just a tiny little piece. And I'm just going to glue it down. And I kept everything laying in my cardstock so that I wouldn't lose those little pieces. And both hands are like that. And we'll get the second one glued down, and then we'll add that little pinky bit, and we'll have our heart hands assembled. I'm just trying to get it laid down on there so I've got my shadow. I could have shifted that just a little bit to the right. It would have been a little bit better, but I didn't. So you can see when you put them together, you've got a heart. Now I'm just showing you can lay the heart in between those fingers and then put the other heart on the palm. And I forgot to put that little piece in there, and I kind of had a glob of glue on there, so I wiped it up with my finger. And then we'll just add that little insert of the pinky on there. And I was just looking at my cutout so I could see to make sure I get it in the right direction. And I need to add a little bit more glue underneath that finger. And then you can see we've got their little heart hands, and they're super cute. Now, I've got my bracelet on there, and I've ordered one from Callie and Kate. That's an Essie shop. It's a gal and her daughter. Actually, she has 2 daughters in town that make them and sell a bunch of them. And you guys have seen me wear my Nana, actually multiple Nana bracelets on my channel, lots. But this particular Nana I bought for our cousin, and so I'm going to make a card to go along with that bracelet, and that's why I wanted to show you the bracelet, but I'm going to make 2 other cards as well. So I'm not going to use the stamp sentiments because I have the better press ones. I'm just going to use the stamp letters and get them stamped down so that I'll have them. I'm going to have a multitude of options here for my letters because I'm going to stamp just with some Memento black ink so that I have some black, and then I'm going to bring in some clear embossing ink, and I'll use some silver or gold embossing powder, and we'll have gold, and then I'm going to also better press some. So we're going to have lots of options for our letter beads. And so I'm going to do both There's 2 sets for A to Z, and you've got some numbers and some faces as well. I'm just going to flip this over, and then I'm going to ink this up as well. And I'll have 2 full sets of those in the black ink. And I needed to re-ink the little faces again, so I just did that at the bottom. And it inked up really well. For it being such small, little tiny letters, it did ink up really well. Now I'm going to clean them off, lay that one aside. I'll bring in another piece of that Hammermill cardstock, and then I'm going to bring in my embossing ink, VersaFine Clear, and I'll just get them inked up. I'll stamp them a couple times, and then we'll bring in our, I've got the embossing powder there, and that embossing powder is probably 30 years old. It is Stampin' Up! From back in the day, when probably before kids, when I was making some cards and stuff. So I know it's at least 30 years old. So I'm going to bring in a just a piece of copy paper, and we'll emboss this real quick. And I'm going to put the embossing powder on there a couple times. I'm using my 2-in-1 tool to just kind of clean it up a little bit. And then I'll bring in my heat gun, and we'll just heat these up real quick. And we will have our embossed and our inked. And then here I'm going to just die cut them all out. And you'll see I have to do a whole bunch of passes. And it takes a minute to get them all popped out of the die. And I brought in some little dishes to dump them into so I could keep them separate. I'll actually change these out to some plastic containers that have lids here in a minute, so that I can store them, and I'll have them so I can use them later, so that I don't have to do all this stamping and die cutting if I want to use it again. So I'm just trying to get it lined up, and I'm using my tape because I don't want it to move. I want my beads to be in the center of my letters to be in the center of my beads. And so I did 2 full sets of the black Memento black ink, because I'll be most likely to use those. And then I did the embossed, because I have something specific in mind for that. Now here is the better press, and I'm going to get them laid down on here, and I've got some cotton better press paper, and I'm going to use my Cosmic Blue and just ink these up. And I will tell you, I like the better press way better than the stamped ones. I mean, they're just so pristine and clear. They just look fabulous. And so I like them. And we'll go ahead and get them die cut out. And this is where I bring in my plastic containers. I did have 3 of them, and I've got the black, the blue, and then the gold. And here I thought, if you're going to use them right away, you might just leave them in the panel so you can find the letters easier. The other ones I popped out, and I kind of had to dig through them, but those I left them in the square so that I could just easily find the letters that I'm looking for. So I would suggest that. Now here I have just die cut out just all kinds of beads, red and white and blue, and a couple different colors of blue and purple and pink and tan and dune, and just all of them. And I'm figuring out how I'm going to lay these. Now these are the ones that come with the heart hands, and they are layering. There are 2 pieces. You layer the one on top. You can see I did, and then you have smaller beads that go with these, and there is a bead piece. Now I've die cut out the bracelets, and I kept the inserts because they make a really nice oval die cut piece. But I'm just kind of looking, and I'm going to need to use the smaller ones for these because these are smaller than the other ones. Now that's where I lost it. I lost the footage, and I had already assembled the card, and I put it together. I used some of the Woodland Tells paper and just created a card with that. Now I'm going to work with the larger hands here. And these are called the Bestie Heart Hand, and they're the ones that have the heart. So you've got 2 different hands. You've got like the palm, and then you've got the hands grasping. And I have a red one and a pink heart here. And I just brought on some paper that I thought would look nice with either the pink heart or the red heart. And I'm kind of trying to decide, because I'm kind of on the fence whether it's a pink heart or a red heart that's in that background. But I think I decided to go with a pink. And I'm just going to cut this down. I think I go smaller than an A2 size panel on this. I think I go 4 by 5 1/4 and cut it down to that. I felt like I needed a lot of landscape for that arm, but or for the hand and the arm, but I actually I'll wind up cutting that arm down. I decided for these cards I'd use some colored cardstock, so I'm just bringing some Dahlia in, which is the same color that I had die cut that heart out, and I'm just going to score it up, and we'll have an A2 size card, and we're going to lay that panel on there that is 4 by 5 1/4, and we'll figure out how we're going to position this. Now, I had to change my lighting because this was taking a while, and so now I've got my overhead lights on, and it kind of has a little different hue to it, so I apologize for that, but we're going to get this laid down on there and get it lined up, and then we'll position the hand and the arm on there, and I'm not going to have the full length of the arm. I'm just going to let it hang off the edge, and I'll just cut it off once I figure out exactly where I want to get it laid down on there. So we'll put some glue on here, and we'll get this hand laid down on here. And I thought that heart background paper was kind of cute with the fact that she's holding a heart in her hand. And so that's why I decided to go with that. Now I've got to quickly get that heart laid down in there before everything dries and I can't get it in there. And I think it looks cute. So we'll just snip off. And I had my magnet attached to my scissors there. So I was going to see if that little piece would work for another piece that I needed, but it didn't. So now I've laid that down there and I'm like, oh man, I've got to get these bracelets on here. So I'm going to pry them up and just kind of slide them up on there. And I'll get both of them on there and get them positioned how I want them. And I decided for this one, I'm going to cut the back off so that I don't have bulk there right on the edge. And we'll just tuck it in and then we'll glue it back down. I could have done that with both of them. In fact, well, I was going to say you might be able to cut them in half and split them, but I don't know. They probably wouldn't be wide enough to do that. So here I've got just 2 that I've die cut out in the silver metallic Spellbinders cardstock, and I've got them laid down on there. And now I'm going to begin adorning them. So I'm going to bring in my letters, and for this I'm going to use the Better Press one, and these are the ones that are in the cosmic blue. And I'm going to get my letters laid down first, and then I'll put my beads around it. And so what I've chosen to put on this particular bracelet is love. So we'll get the LOVE laid down on there. And then we will use some of those beads that I had previously die cut out to adorn our love with it. And we'll just get those positioned down on there. Now you definitely need a pick and stick tool for this so that you can pick them up, put them down, and then use your stick end to move them around so that they're lined up the way you want them. And you can see I've got all of these different colors here die cut out so that I have lots of options. And I'm going to use the light pink and the dark pink and the light pink and the white on this particular bracelet here on top. And we'll just kind of alternate them. And that little tray is from the dollar store. I will link all the materials in the description box below so that you can check them out. But this is a fun set. And I think you could be selective on it. You don't have to have all of these pieces. I am an affiliate for Spellbinders. I do affiliate work for them, so they sent all those to me. But you could be real selective and decide which ones you wanted and go with those. And if I were choosing between the stamp and die set and the Better Press, if you have the Better Press, I would recommend that because I thought they were just so crisp. But if you don't have the Better Press, it did stamp well, and you'll see I used the stamps on one of my cards as we move along here. So it will work. I had a preference toward the Better Press. And you can glimmer the better press as well. I didn't do that today because I thought I had plenty of stuff to work with anyway. So I didn't glimmer them. I did glimmer the cinnamons. I used the Dune cardstock, and I used black glimmer, and I did glimmer the, which I think you'll see that later in the show here, or in the video. Now here on this one, I put Faith down, and I'm using teal and purple for my beads, and I think it looks really nice. Love and faith, I think, go together well. And I think, now that I think about it, I did lose the footage of the glimmering that I did. But I will bring those cinnamons in and you will see those as well. So I'm just trying to get this one turned over so I get it laid in the right direction. And then I realized I had missed a couple of the beads on the pink bracelet, so I'll just bring some more in and just get them added down on there. And we've got all of our beads on there. And I think it looks really cute. A lot of times you'll layer these types of bracelets anyway. You've seen me wear 3. I've got 2 Nana ones, and I've got one that says BFF that I got from my granddaughter at her birthday party. She had little party favors that said BFF. And so, my daughter had gotten me one Nana, and then she'd got me another Nana. So I have a couple Nana ones. So I've got this cinnamon here that I have glimmered on the Dune cardstock, and it says be fearless. And I think if you have faith, you can definitely be fearless. So next we're going to work on our other hand. And I brought my bracelet in again, that's my gift, because I want to try and coordinate it to some extent to kind of match the bracelet that I'm giving as a gift. Now it won't exactly because I didn't have the right colors, but I'm going to kind of put it together like that. I don't think I'm going to use the red heart because I'm going to go in more of an earth tone for this one, and so the red heart will not work. I'm going to bring in one of my newer embossing folders, and I will, it's called Autumn something. I'll link it in the description box below for you to check it out. And I have embossed the panel, and it looks really nice. And so I'm using some Spellbinders Essential cardstock. It's a cream colored, I can't remember the exact name. And we'll just get this laid down on our card base. I'm just going to use a white card base on this one. And then again, we have our hand, and we've got to figure out how we want to position it on there. And then we've got our bracelets. And I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I'm going to go ahead and get my bracelets on there before I lay it down. Learn from your past mistakes. I'm going to bring in some double-sided tape and just tape them so they won't, I can be sure it won't move around on me, and it'll be good and adhered to my wrist. And then we'll bring the second one in, and I've got a little slit in it, so I'm going to just layer it up and lay it on there, and we'll get it laid down on our card. And I'm just using my Barely Art glue in those small glue bottles. And I'm going to get it laid down on there, and I'm going to snip the wrist off of that. And we will begin working with it as well. Now I'm bringing that in that bin there. And I had specifically embossed in the gold these letters for this card because the bracelet that I had there had gold, a gold Nana on it. It had some gold beads too, but I don't have any metallic gold right now, Spellbinders metallic gold. I'm out of that. I need to get some more of that. So I didn't create any gold beads with it. I wish I had had it because it would have better matched my bracelet, but the color scheme's not exact, but it's just going to be fun. I thought it'd be fun to kind of have a neutral bracelet, so that's what I'm doing here. And I am digging through. This is where if you'd have left them in their pieces, you wouldn't have to dig through and find them. But basically, I'm going to have Nana on this top bracelet, and then we'll bring in our colored beads, and we will get them laid down on there. So I've got my Nana. I'm pouring everything back in there and putting the lid on there so I don't tip them over. And I'm just going to get some glue on there, and I'll get the Nana laid down on here, and then we'll add the colored beads to it. And you can see I'm just flipping that tool over to use that pointed end so that I can get them lined up just how I want them. And just get them arranged. And now I'm digging out the letters for Kelly. This is for our cousin Kelly. While we were at the beach, we vacationed with her at Ocean Isle Beach, and she was admiring my Nana bracelets because her grandkids also call her Nana. So while we were sitting there on the beach one day, I went ahead and went online and ordered her a bracelet so she'd have one. And it came in, and I've actually had it for a minute, but I need to get this card made. I'm going to make this card and send it to her and have her bracelet inside of it. And it says Nana, and then it'll say Kelly. That is her name. And we'll get it laid down on here. And this will be a custom card for her to go with her Nana bracelet. And she'll probably see this video perhaps before the bracelet arrives at her house, but that's okay. And I'm just digging through because I didn't like the Y that I had there, and I'm going to find a one that I think looks better, and I did. So we'll put them back, and we'll get that laid down on there, get the lid on it, and then we'll add our beads. And we'll get them all laid down on there. And I've got, I think it's latte, and then I've got the cream colored, and then I've got the Tuscan, I believe, is what I'm using for the bead colors. And like I said, it's just going to be a real neutral tone. And we'll just get them all positioned down on there. Just filling in any areas that I might have missed. And then I am going to use one of the glimmered sentiments that I made for the other card. I'm going to use it on here as well. So just getting them all positioned on there very neatly. And these two bracelets are going to coordinate. The other one I used, different colors on, but I thought it'd be fun to coordinate these. So I got all those on there. And I'm not liking that red heart. So I'm thinking about die cutting it out in one of the colors that is coordinated with it. I got my sentiment there, and I'm going to use Dance Like No One Else Is Watching because she and I have been known to have little dance parties on her enclosed front porch. We've had the music and blasting and dancing because usually, we vacation there, and so we usually have a lot of fun. And so we've been known to have dance parties on her front porch. So just she and I. And so I'm going to put Dance Like No One Else Is Watching, like no one is watching, and she'll get a kick out of that because she'll understand the meaning of that. And so for this, I thought I would bring in some more of that cream cardstock and die cut out the heart and just bring that color back into it. And I do that, but then I kind of come up with a different idea that I'm going to use. So what I decided to do is I had embossed a panel with a heart embossing folder, thinking that I was going to use that for my background panel. But I decided to just fussy cut out this heart with the embossed detail on it and to use this on the palm of my hand. And I'm going to pop it up. And I think it looks pretty. So I'm going to grab some foam circles here, and I'll just get it popped up. I'm trying to decide which side because, both sides look fabulous. But I am going to go with the normal side up, and we'll just get a bunch of these foam circles laid down on here, and we'll get this popped up. And we've kind of kept it pretty clean and kind of, I guess, mono. Well, I don't know. We've got multiple colors on there, but it's pretty clean and simple, I guess I would say. So I'm going to get that laid down on there. And then I thought about bringing in these gold enamel dots from Spellbinders. And then I thought, I've got a lot of those beads left over. So I think I'm just going to take the same colored beads that I die cut out for this particular bracelet set. And I'm just going to lay those all around here and just kind of create some embellishments with that and just kind of fill in some of those white spaces. Or I guess I should say cream-colored spaces. And then that'll pretty much finish off our card. So we've got 3 great cards. We've got the heart hands, and we've got the Bestie heart in hands. And so we've got 3, and they're very different. And this is the one I'm going to put the bracelet in. So they're all 3 very different. I hope you like them all. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.